Good afternoon and welcome once more to the BiGDUG Studios, where today we're going to be concentrating on our lower body, so some strength and some stretches through from the waist downwards, maybe a little bit of abs as well. So join me on the mat then with the feet about hip width apart, soften off those knees and just take a big breath in through the nose. Reach it up and a big breath out through the mouth. So inhaling and exhaling. We've got 3 more then. And exhaling, last 2. And last 1. And just bringing those hands down by the sides for me. Turn the palms forward and just close the eyes here. So if you're joining us on your lunch break, let's just let go of anything from this morning as you breathe in and breathe out. Shoulders come away from the ears. And just bringing your attention into the breath for me. One more then. This time as you inhale, raise the arms back up overhead as you open the eyes up and swan diving all the way down towards that mat, or as close as you can get, and straightening off those feet for me and just giving a rock forwards and backwards just to give a little bit of a stretch through those hamstrings. So just taking it as far as you feel comfortable with. And remembering, if the fingers don't come to the floor, you can always rest the hands just above the knees for me. And bringing it back into still then. We're going to take that right hand across to the left foot or the left lower leg and extend that left arm up. So we're just going to give a little bit of a twist through that torso. If you need to, you can soften the knees. And bringing the left hand across to the right foot or shin, that right hand goes up, fingers point to the ceiling. And bringing the hands back down to the floor, into the center, and let's just bring the knees down to the mat for me to bring ourselves into that tabletop position. So knees under hips, wrists under shoulders, fingers are open. So just to give a quick warm up through the hip, let's push the weight of the bum back towards the right foot, and then to the left, and circle it forward. So a small or a large circle as you feel comfortable with. Just warming up that lower body. And circle once more clockwise, and then let's take it anti-clockwise then. So you're inhaling as you come forward, and exhaling as you go backwards. The belly nice and strong, elbows are soft. Just still staying with the warm up here. And bringing it back into center, back into that tabletop. So just make sure you're repositioned, and then you're going to take the right hip towards the right elbow, and then the left to the left. So we're just going to take it side to side, using that waist. Don't worry how far you can take it, it doesn't matter. So apparently we hold most of our tension in the hip, so this is a nice one just to loosen up through here. And then we're just going to bring it back into center for me. As we inhale, look forward, dip the back, lift the chin. And then exhale, let's round into that cat position. So inhale forward, exhale round. 2 more then, inhale. And exhale, last one. And exhale for me. I'm bringing it back into that regular tabletop before tucking the toes and coming into downward facing dog for the first time. So remembering, if the heels don't go to the floor, it doesn't matter, and if you need to bend those knees, that's absolutely fine. one then, wherever you are, just bending the knees one at a time, just pedaling through those legs, giving a nice warm up to that lower body. And then you're going to bring the legs back to still and drop yourself back into that tabletop position. So once more, positioning the wrists underneath the shoulders and knees under the hips. We're just going to extend that right leg out for me. So keeping the hips nice and square, we're just going to draw that right knee towards the right elbow. And then extend it out and straight, point the toe. So pull it into the outside edge of that right elbow and extend. So we've got 10 of these. This is 3. And extend. So 4. Extend, pointing the toes. Don't worry if you can't do 10, just do what you feel comfortable with. Slow and controlled towards the elbow and slow and controlled back. We've got 4 more. 3. 2. And last one, extend it back, drop the toe to the floor and just lift it up and lower. Lift, we've only got 5 of these. That's 3 and lower, 4 and lower. Last one, lower and draw that right knee back in. So if you need to give the shoulders a little bit of a shake, go ahead. And just reposition yourself and extend that left leg out. So you're trying to keep those hips nice and square to the mat for me. Draw that left knee to the left elbow and extend it back. So remembering we've got 10 or however many you feel you can do today. That's 3. 4. So you're directing that knee to the outside edge of that left elbow. 5. 6, 7, 8, 9. Last one, leave that leg extended, toes pointed, drop the toe to the mat and lift. So just a small lift here. 2, 3, 4. Last one, and draw that left knee back in. So let's just give those shoulders a little bit of a rest. Take the knees to the outside edge of the mat, big toes together, push the bum back, and slowly slide those arms out to bring yourself into that extended child's pose. So forearms and palms are on the mat. Making sure that you're not putting all the weight into that head. The weight is sat back towards the heels. So forehead just grazes the mat for me. Two more breaths here then. Before returning yourself back into that tabletop position, so straightening off those knees, wrists under shoulders, knees under hips, tuck the toes and come back up into downward facing dog for me. So we're going to hold it here. So remembering it's your practice, so if the heels don't go down, it doesn't matter. And then from here, staying in down dog, rise up onto the toes for me, just to give a stretch through the fronts of the feet. And then drop the heels back down to as close to the mat as you can get them. Come back up onto the toes and lower back down. So back up and lower. We've got 2 more then. Coming up and lowering. And you should notice that as you come up, you're engaging through the quads, through the top of those thighs, and lower it back down. So we've got 1 more to come up onto the toes for the final time. And you're going to extend that right leg up for me. So just as high as you can get it. And don't worry if you've got a little bit of a bend, that's absolutely fine. Then from here, you're going to swing it through or step it through into a high lunge. So just check that that front knee is over the front ankle before turning that back foot, pressing through that front foot and bringing yourself up to Warrior 1. So just make sure then that that back leg is far enough away to feel a stretch in the top of the hip.
So gazes towards the front of the mat. And then when you're ready, we're coming into warrior two by dropping the arms to shoulder level as you twist to the left. So staying strong through those legs. Dropping the back hand and rising up with that front one. Into reverse warrior here. Returning back into warrior two, so arms come back to shoulder level. You're going to return to the gaze to the front of the mat, arms come up overhead, warrior one, and step that left foot forward for me. So we're back into that extended mountain pose before forward folding all the way down to the mat, jumping or stepping it back into a high plank, and then lifting the hips. If you need to walk the hands a little bit, you can, to bring yourself into downward facing dog once more. So just keeping those hips nice and high. As you inhale, come back up onto the toes. Exhale that left leg up for me. So remembering once more, it can be bent, it doesn't have to go really high. And then from here, swinging it or stepping it through into that high lunge. Turn that right foot, press through the left and come up to warrior one. So hands above the head, front knee is above that front ankle. Stretch here is in that right hip. As you exhale, drop the arms to shoulder level as you twist to the right. Back hand drops, front hand rises into reverse warrior. So aiming to get this back hand down the back of the thigh. So stay strong through the legs. Returning into warrior two. Before gaze comes back to the front of the mat into warrior one. You're just going to step that right foot forward for me. So we're back into that extended mountain pose here. Really reach it up. And then you're going to swan dive it once more back to the floor for me. So from here, feet are about hip width apart. You're just going to bend the knees enough to allow you to rest your chest or belly onto the thighs. So if you want to walk those feet closer together, if you feel nice and comfortable that way, you can. So just rest in that chest or belly. Let the upper body hang. Stay nice and strong through these legs, and if you want to, you can just cross the arms. So you're just holding here in that ragdoll, grounding down through the feet, upper body's relaxed, staying strong through the legs. Two more breaths then. Before releasing the hands back to the floor and just straightening those legs up as much as you feel comfortable with. And you're going to bring yourself back down into that tabletop position. So just repositioning, pressing down through the palms. Just holding here, gazes to the mat. Really press down through the hands just to take those shoulders away from the ears slightly. Belly stays strong, spine stays in neutral, and knees are under the hips. And then when you're ready, you're going to step that left foot forward for me. So left knee over left ankle. Just ease that right knee back until you can feel a stretch in this hip flexor here. So wherever you are, you can stay with the hands on the floor. You can bring them above the knee, or if you really want to, you can reach them up above the head. So you're concentrating on the stretch here. So don't worry too much about where the hands are. They don't have to be up above. Just trying to give a good stretch to that hip flexor on the right. And then you're going to bring both hands down to either side of that left foot and just push the bum back. Just to give yourself a little bend in that leg if that's all you feel able to do today. If you want to take it slightly further, you can sit it back onto that right heel, straightening out that left leg, flexing that left foot and bringing the hands to the heart. So either in that little bit of a bend or sitting it right back, your choice. And then as you inhale, let's drop that left foot back to the floor. Bring the hands to the inside edge, back the stretch off a little bit to allow you to step that left foot back. So just repositioning yourself then before stepping the right foot forward, right knee over right ankle. Ease that left knee back until you feel that stretch. And then once more, hands to the floor, above the knee or above the head. So just sinking it into that hip, Just feeling that stretch. Slight back bend if you've got the hands above the head, so just be aware of that for me. Grounding down through those right toes just to help that foot stay nice and stable. And as you exhale, hands come down either side of that right foot, and allow you to press the bum back where you can stay here in that little bit of a hover, or you can sit it right back onto that left heel. So wherever you are, right foot's flexed, and if you're sat onto the heel, bring the hands to the heart and gazes forward for me. Two more breaths here then. And then as you inhale, let's drop that right foot down, bring the hands to the inside edge, back the stretch off in love to allow you to step that right foot back for me. So tuck the toes on the feet for me and just sit it back onto the heels, just to give a stretch through the fronts of the feet. Now if that is uncomfortable, sat onto the heels, you can still come up onto the knees and just give a little lean back, just till you can feel a stretch through the fronts of the feet. So whichever one you choose. Two more breaths here then. And then when you're ready, let's bring ourselves back into that tabletop position by untucking the toes. Just give ourselves one more round of cat and cow. Inhale forward, dip the back, lift the chin. Exhale to round into cat, really pulling that belly in, pressing down through the palms. Return to regular tabletop, tuck the toes and come back into downward facing dog. Before jumping, walking or stepping those feet forward to bring you into that forward fold. And then when you're ready, bend the knees and bring the bum down to the mat and extend those feet out for me. So from here then, extend the arms out and slowly and controlled, just roll it back. Once more, remembering if you need to, you can always bring the elbow down just to give you that little bit of hand. So extend that left leg out and draw that right knee in towards the chest. So you're going to hug it in nice and tight. If you find that extending that left leg out is too much, you can always place the sole of the foot on the floor just to give you that little bit extra support. Just whatever works for you today. Two more breaths here then. And you're going to take this right knee down to the right side. So both the hips are going to face up towards the ceiling. The right knee is just going to fall open. So once more, if you need to, get your trusty little blanket or your cushion and just rest it underneath that right knee if you need to, just to give you that extra bit of support. Hips face up, opening up through the inner thigh and the groin. Shoulders are on the mat for me. Concentrating on the breath. And then you're just going to reach over with that left hand, grab onto that right knee and take the right knee down to the left side. So you're giving yourself a little bit of a roll. You're going to extend the right arm across the floor and look to that right arm. Now if that's really uncomfortable, you can look towards the left, whichever you feel comfortable with. And if it's too much to take that right arm out, just rest it on the top of the body. Don't force anything, and any pain should always come straight back out of wherever you are. So let's inhale to roll ourselves back to flat on the back. Draw the right knee and the left one back in and just hug them in nice and tight and give a rock side to side here if you want to. Bring it back into center. Keep the left one pulled in, extend that right one out and drop it down to the mat. Or you can keep that right sole of the foot on the floor, whichever you feel comfortable with. So gaze is up towards the ceiling. And then we're going to take that left knee down to the left side. So just going to open up through that left hip. Right hip still pointing up to the ceiling. And remembering if you need to, don't forget that trusty little blanket. Push it underneath the knee just to give you that little bit of support. So shoulders should remain in contact with the mat, as should the head. And then when you're ready, the right hand's going to come across and take that left knee down to the right side to create that twist. Left arm's going to stretch out across the floor, and you're going to look to the left arm, unless of course you just prefer to look to that knee and rest that left arm on the body. And then you're going to return yourself back into center and hug both knees in one more time. So hugging them in as tight as you can and just rocking side to side if that feels comfortable. And then bringing it back into still. So you're going to rest your hands just on the top of the knees lightly. Now you might find that you need to slide them down the thighs a little bit. Just see how you go once we get started. So you're going to draw the knees towards the body. Then you're going to circle them out and around. So you're just going to draw tiny circles with those knees, just giving those hips a nice little bit of a stretch, a little bit of mobility. So you may find that the hands just graze the thighs. And then we're going to take the knees away and circle them back in. So just taking them in different directions. You might find one is tighter than the other. Just doing exactly what you feel comfortable with today. And draw both knees back into the chest for me. Hugging them in nice and tight. Taking both of them down to the right side and taking both arms over to the left. Switching sides then. Knees go left and arms go right. Once more, switch them over. And last time. And coming back to center with both soles of the feet flat on the floor, knees pointing up. Just give the shoulders a little bit of a shuffle if you've moved around. Just holding here for 2 breaths. Then from here, take the feet to the outside edge of the mat. And you're just going to let the knees fall inwards for me. So just relaxing here. If you want to close the eyes, you can. Palms are facing up. Just letting those knees fall together. Two more breaths then. Take those knees back apart, walk the feet back in until they're hip width apart, and then draw both knees into the chest for me. Hug them in nice and tight here. And then slowly roll up. So you're back to seated. Once you're up to seated, you're going to either cross the ankles a little bit away from the body or draw them in wherever you feel comfortable with, making a little bit of a basket with the hands. Place them underneath those knees or underneath the legs. Take a breath in. And as you exhale, press down with the leg as you pull up with the hand. So we're giving an active stretch here to the outside edge of the hip. So trying not to hold your breath for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and just release. Just let that hip relax. Sometimes it will go a little bit down, sometimes it won't, it doesn't matter. Taking a breath in then. Press down as you pull up for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Just release, just let it relax. Got one more on this side then. Take a breath in. Exhale, press down as you pull up for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and just release it down. We're going to uncross and cross in the other direction for me then. So the other one's going to come in front this time. Taking the hands underneath that leg. Take a breath in.
Exhale, press down as you pull up then for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Just release it off, just let that leg drop. Inhale here. Exhale, press down as you pull up then for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Just let it go. One more then on this side as well. Take a breath in. Exhale, press down as you pull up then for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And just let it go. Just shake them out if you need to. Just rest in the hands whilst we're here, just on top of the knees again then. You're just going to lead with the chest forward and then you're going to circle it around. So scooping the belly. So inhaling forward and exhaling backwards. Just activating through that waist. And let's reverse it then. So taking it back in the other direction. Just as small or a larger circle as you want. Once more then. And then bringing it back into centre for me. You're going to extend the legs out. And you're slowly going to roll it back down onto the back. So once you get onto the floor, taking the feet then about hip width apart. Just make yourself nice and comfortable. Take the arms to about 6 inches away from the body with the palms facing up. And just close the eyes. Just concentrating here on the breath as you breathe in through the nose and a big breath out through the mouth. Inhale and just release all that tension on the exhale. Just feel the body sink into the mat as the shoulders and the hips become heavy. The jaw softens. And you just bring yourself to the present moment as you breathe in and breathe out. Just letting the body relax into the mat. Breathing in and breathing out. Starting to bring your awareness then back to the body from the top of your head right to the tips of your toes. You can move the fingers and toes if that feels good. Staying with the eyes closed here. Breathing in and breathing out. And then when you're ready, open up the eyes and slowly bring yourself to seated. And once you're up, switching the feet around to the front where you can leave the mat in front of you, or you can draw the heels in close to the body. Sitting up nice and tall here then. Just placing the hands by the sides. You're just going to give a reach over with that left hand. So just allowing that right elbow to bend slightly. And switching sides here for me then.
Just feeling a stretch through the side of the body before bringing both hands around in front and just creating a bend in that back. And if you want to here, you can take the head side to side, or you can nod it up and down, whichever you choose. Bring yourself back up and just rest them on top of the thighs for me, just above the knees, and just close the eyes here. So staying with the breath, start to bring your awareness to the sounds around. Just breathing in and breathing out. Two more breaths here then. And then when you're ready, open up the eyes, bring the hands to the heart. Namaste. Thank you for joining us once again at the BiGDUG Studios, and we wish you a great weekend and hope to see you next week then. So Tuesday night at 6 o'clock or Wednesday at 12:30. Until then, stay flexible and stay safe.